What?
He's ignoring me. Nothing.
What are you doing?
I'm doing my vlog.
Why are you whispering?
Nothing. Hello everybody, it is G. I am back. I have changed my hair colour again. It is obnoxiously bright for some reason. And today I am going to talk about how you can fund your postgraduate study. So as some of you may or may not know, I recently got accepted onto a master's course to study esports here at Staffordshire University. So postgraduate courses and master's courses specifically are generally like a little bit cheaper than your undergrad courses in the long run. So the average sort of like 1 year full-time, 2 years part-time kind of MA courses usually cost between 6 to 9 grand to complete. So there are a few ways that you can go about funding your postgraduate course, and I'm going to take you through a few of them and see if any of it just helps you out and make things a little bit clearer. But first, a little note, and it's something that was a huge relief to me when I was researching starting my master's course, and that is if you are currently doing an undergraduate course at Staffordshire University. What this basically means is that if you are a continuing staff student, you do get a smidgen of discount off your course fees, which is kind of really cool. So the main way of funding, and the way that I'm going with, is the government ran student loan. In essence, it's a bit like the undergraduate loan in that the government gives you money and then eventually you have to pay it back when you start earning enough. But what's different about it is that it's not actually done on your parents' income. So it's centered entirely on you, and it's how much you need. And this is split across how many years you are choosing to do your master's for. So for me, studying my master's in 1 year, I'd get it all in that year. But it can be split up across years if you're doing it part-time, etc. But yeah, for that you just apply through the government website the same as you would for an undergraduate loan, although the postgrad loan does open quite a bit later than the undergraduate loan, so that's something to bear in mind. You can also get a postgraduate doctoral loan, I think that's the correct way to say it, but that's basically if you do a PhD. So say with the undergraduate loan, you get 9 grand for the course fee loan, and then you get 6 grand for the maintenance loan. With the postgrad loan, it's all in that lump sum that you get. So the next option is like scholarships and things. I might throw like bursaries and grants in this section. So a scholarship is basically when an organisation kind of like pays for you to do a study because you're like really good at it, or they're really excited about your idea or something. It's kind of, I'd say it's more common for like PhDs than it is for like master's level. But yeah, that's all it is. Like you get like funding because you're all basically really good. But it's kind of an awkward thing to think like, how would I go about getting a scholarship? So that's something where you really need to do the research and see if there are any scholarships out there for something that you want to study. So what's different about a bursary or grant to a scholarship is that scholarships, like I said, are usually funding from like the uni itself or from something education based, and they're usually done on the academic thing itself. But like the way that I hear bursary and grant used differently is that I hear bursary used more in the sense of to help if you're struggling. That's more of like the bursary side of things. But anyway, for the most part, like bursaries and grants are the same. It's basically when anyone or any company gives you money to do your course that you don't have to pay back. That's like not education based like a scholarship. So I've been looking into grants because I want to make sure that I have absolutely enough money to get me through my master's. Grants can be anything from like £50 to like your whole tuition. And I found this really useful website which is called turntous.org, and it's basically like a huge sort of list of grants that are available, and you can like search your area and what you want funding and stuff, and it filters it down to grants that are appropriate for you. So there's one that I'm looking at which is a grant of up to £500 just for living where I grew up. Something with this though is you have to make sure that you are looking at the right stuff. So basically there are a lot of grants and stuff out there that are for charities or for non-profit organisations, so you have to keep an eye out for that, and you have to keep an eye out that like you are allowed to take it as a student or apply for it as a student. And then the final way of funding your postgrad, which I want to bring up, is actually working. So there's always an option to do postgrad part-time. It usually means you'll take twice the amount of time to finish the course, but other than that it's the same course, it's just part-time. And this means that you can work alongside it, and that can be a way that you can fund your course. If you have a job that pays enough, and pays enough when it's part-time, you can totally fund your course that way. You don't have to go part-time to fund your course. So for example, the loan that I mentioned earlier, I would say it's enough for me, because I think that it will work out that it's actually more than I've been living on by the means tested stuff this year. It's quite low once you take the tuition fees out of it. So a really good idea, and something that most postgrad students I've seen decide to do, is to get a small part-time job on the side. At the end of the day, you only need 3 or 4 hours a week to bring in like an extra 70 to 100 quid a month, and that can make all the difference. But we've got like a really, really good postgraduate team at university who can help you out with all this stuff, and I could not recommend the postgraduate open events anymore. Like, they're absolutely amazing, and the funding talk during that is wonderful, and it really put my mind at ease when I went in November and I was freaking out about it. It really relaxed me, so that was wonderful. So I highly, highly recommend going to a open event if you can. But yeah, I guess that's all I've got to say on the subject. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you again very soon, I'm sure. Bye!